Have you ever noticed there's a voice in your head that never stops talking? A voice that comments on everything you do, that reminds you of what went wrong yesterday, that anticipates what could go wrong tomorrow, that judges you, compares you, warns you, all the time, without stopping. Now let me ask you the question that changes everything. Who is that voice? Because if you can hear it, if you are the one listening to it, then you cannot be it. The voice in your head is not you. You are the one who hears it. You are the space where that voice exists. You are the observer, not the noise. And once you truly understand that, not as a concept but as a lived experience, something loosens. Something you had been carrying without even knowing you were carrying it. That's what this video is about. The 3 things that voice does to you. It talks, it feels, and it tries to control. And for each one, a specific exercise you can use starting today. First, you need to understand why that voice exists, because it is not your enemy. That voice was designed to protect you. It evolved over thousands of years to anticipate danger, solve problems, prepare you for the worst. In the primitive world, that was what kept people alive. The mind that never rested was the mind that survived. The problem is that same mechanism, brilliant at detecting a predator in the dark, is completely inadequate for the world we live in today. So it applies the same strategy to everything, to an unanswered email, to an uncomfortable conversation, to a decision you have to make next week. Imagine you have a fire alarm in your house. It serves a vital purpose, but if that alarm goes off every time you light a candle, every time you cook, every time there's a small cloud of steam, it stops being protection, it becomes constant noise, and that's the untrained voice. It's not malicious. It's just overactive. Practical exercise. The next time you notice the voice talking, worrying, criticizing, anticipating, don't try to silence it. Simply observe it. Say to yourself, there is a thought. I am noticing it. Just that. There's no need to argue with it, believe everything it says, or push it away. Just watch it. Observe it the way you would watch clouds crossing the sky. You are the sky. The thoughts are the clouds. The sky does not become a cloud just because clouds pass through. And at first, this may feel strangely difficult. You may notice that within seconds you've been pulled back into the thought itself. Suddenly, you're no longer observing the cloud. You're inside the storm. That is normal. Most people spend years unconsciously merging with every thought that enters their mind. They assume that because a thought appears, it must be true, urgent, or important. But awareness changes that relationship. The moment you notice the thought instead of becoming the thought, a small space opens. And in that space, something powerful happens: choice. Most mental alarms don't actually deserve your attention, and most warnings don't require action. A thought is often just a thought passing through, arriving and leaving, without defining who you are. And with practice, that space gradually becomes larger, calmer, and easier to access, allowing you to respond consciously rather than automatically reacting to every signal your mind sends. If this way of understanding your own mind is something you want to go deeper into, subscribe. This channel is built for people who want to understand themselves at a real level and actually do something with that understanding. New videos every week. Now, behind many of those thoughts there are emotions, and here's something most people don't understand. Emotions are temporary. They don't feel that way when you're living through them. When you're in the middle of anxiety, it feels like it has always been there and always will be. When you feel guilt or shame or fear, the body experiences it as permanent, as truth, but it isn't. Every emotion has a cycle. It arrives, it peaks, and it dissolves if you let it pass. The problem isn't the emotion. The problem is that we hold on to it, analyze it, feed it with more thoughts, and keep it alive far longer than it would last on its own. Practical exercise. Think of something that's been weighing on you right now, something you've been carrying. Don't analyze it. Instead, bring your attention to your body. Where do you feel it physically? In your chest, in your throat, in your stomach? Stay with that sensation. Breathe slowly into that place. And with each exhale, don't try to eliminate it. Simply let it be what it is, without adding more story to it. Often, the emotions that imprison us most don't need to be solved. They just need to be felt and then released. This is the same truth from earlier, just applied to feeling instead of thinking. You are aware of the emotion, which means you are not the emotion. And this can feel counterintuitive because most of us were taught to immediately fix discomfort. We learn to distract ourselves, suppress what hurts, stay busy, or search endlessly for explanations. But emotions are not problems arriving at your door demanding solutions. They are experiences moving through you. They are signals, not identities. The wave feels overwhelming when you resist it, but resistance often gives it more strength. If instead you create space for it, even for a few moments, you may notice something surprising. The feeling begins to soften on its own. Emotions, by their nature, were never meant to stay forever. They come, they move, and eventually they leave. But there's something else the voice does, something more subtle and more damaging than worrying or judging. And it's this. The voice wants to control everything. How conversations turn out, what others think of you, the future, the outcomes. The voice wants a grip on all of it. And every time life, as it always does, doesn't follow the script the voice wrote, suffering appears. Resistance, tension. The illusion of control is one of the heaviest burdens we carry. And the irony is that the more you try to control, the more out of control you feel. Because reality never fully cooperates with the mind that plans it. Relationships you controlled so much that you ended up suffocating what you loved. Decisions you postponed forever, waiting to have every variable locked down. Energy spent managing how people perceive you. Letting go isn't giving up. It's recognizing that there's a greater intelligence than your mind managing this moment. Your job isn't to control everything. It's to show up with presence. Practical exercise. Think of something you're trying to control right now, something where you are pushing, forcing, calculating, anticipating. Feel the weight of that in your body. Now breathe slowly, and on the exhale, say silently, or out loud if you can, I release this. I trust the process. This is a deliberate act of opening, not a surrender, because the voice in your head is not you, and you don't need to carry everything it wants to control. Most suffering begins when reality collides with expectation, not because life is wrong, but because the mind insists it should be different. It says, this moment should move faster, people should behave differently, outcomes should unfold according to my plans. But life has never agreed to those terms. There is a quiet freedom that appears when you stop negotiating with reality and begin meeting it as it is. You still take action, still care, still move toward what matters, but you no longer carry the exhausting belief that you must force existence to obey your fears. Sometimes, peace does not come from gaining more control. Sometimes it comes from finally loosening your grip. Here is the freedom that all of this points to. You don't have to silence the voice or earn your peace. You just have to stop mistaking yourself for the noise. When you remember that you are the observer, the quiet space behind the thoughts, behind the emotions, behind the need to control, you discover something that was always there. A stillness that doesn't depend on circumstances. A presence that chaos cannot touch. That is who you are, and it always has been. What is the thought that makes the most noise in your head today? Drop it below. I want to know which one is running loudest for you right now. If this shifted something, the video on screen goes even further into it. That's where I'd go next.